The man who ran from his shadow. In the village of canyons, life moved with the rhythm of the drums and the whispers of the wind. Among the people lived a young man named Sephew, known for his charm and smooth words. He had strong shoulders, a quick smile, and a tongue that could sweeten even bitter truth. In the same village lived Nelly, a poor woman who sold roasted maize by the roadside. Her hut was small, her clothes simple, but her heart was kind. She worked hard each day to feed her aging mother. When Sephew began passing by her stall, he would always stop. Just one cob, he would say, but it wasn't the maize he came for. It was her laughter, her innocence, the way she looked at him with eyes full of belief. Days turned into weeks, and soon Sephew's sweet words became promises, promises of love, marriage, and a better life. Nelly believed him. Under the moonlight, by the whispering river, she gave him her heart and her body. But when her belly began to swell, Sephew changed. He stopped coming by her stall. When she went to his home, his mother chased her away, shouting, "You think my son will marry a beggar's daughter?" That night, as shame covered her like a heavy cloth, Sephew packed his few belongings and ran away from the village. He left before dawn, his shadow long and silent behind him. Months passed. Nelly gave birth to a son, a small boy with eyes like Sephew's and a cry that carried through the hills. The people whispered. Some pitied her. Others mocked her. But Nelly stayed strong. She named the boy Tumeni, meaning hope. Years later, Sephew returned to canyons, his clothes torn and his face weary. He had wandered from town to town, chased by hunger and regret. He went to the river to wash, and there, he saw a boy, tall, strong, and kind, helping his mother fetch water. When Sephew looked into the boy's face, he saw his own reflection staring back at him. He tried to speak, but words stuck in his throat. Nelly only looked at him, silent as the river. "You left us," she said finally. "But your shadow never did." Sephew fell to his knees, weeping. But forgiveness, like the seasons, does not come when called, it comes when it is ready. From that day, the people of canyons told their children. A man may run from the village, but he can never run from his shadow. And the shadow of a lie will always follow him, even under the brightest sun. Days turned into moons, and moons into seasons. Sephew stayed in canyons, walking quietly among the villagers. He repaired fences, fetched water for elders, and joined the men in tilling the dry earth. But no matter how hard he walked, the whispers followed him like dust on his heels. "See him," the women would murmur, "the man who ran from his child." The children pointed and laughed, calling him Sephew the runaway. But Nelly said nothing. She lived her life with quiet strength. Tumeni, her son, grew into a fine young man, tall, with his mother's calm eyes and his father's restless spirit. He was skilled in carving wood and often made small animals to sell in the market. One day, a terrible drought struck canyons. The river shrunk to a thin silver thread, and the crops withered under the angry sun. Hunger began to whisper in every hut. Sephew, desperate to help, went to Nelly's home. "Nelly," he said softly, "let me fetch water from the far valley. I can carry enough for you and the boy." She looked at him for a long moment. "Do as you wish," she said, though her tone was heavy with old wounds. Sephew walked far into the hills, his back bent under the weight of 2 clay pots. The road was long, and his feet blistered. Yet he kept walking. At the edge of the valley, where the last spring still flowed, he knelt to fill the pots. As he rose, a dust storm swept over the hills. The wind roared like angry spirits. Sephew shielded his eyes, but the storm pushed him down. The pots broke, water spilling into the thirsty soil. He sat in the dust, weeping. "All I wanted," he cried to the sky, "was to make things right." When the storm passed, Sephew saw Tumeni standing a few paces away.